If you had told me on that bright Hamilton morning when I tied the red wrapper of a new bride and knelt before Chinwike that one day his 9 wives would beat him like a thief in his own compound, I would have sworn by my mother's grave that such madness could never happen. But here we are. The man who once swore to pluck the moon from me was being carried half dead into a herbalist hut, and I, his first wife, stood by the doorway, holding a broom and watching in silence. I am Anayochukwu, the wife of Chinwike, the so-called lion of Umokwe village, a lion that now meows like a hungry cat. When I first met him, I was 17, shy, and full of foolish hope that love alone could feed a woman. He was tall, handsome, and strong. His laughter was the kind that filled a room, and his words were sweeter than fresh palm wine. Our home was peaceful. We had nothing but each other and our small yam barn. Yet I was content. Then I bore him Chiwendu, our first daughter, my sunshine. He danced that night, praising me as the mother of life. I thought I was the luckiest woman alive. Then Nneka came. He smiled less. A man needs a son to carry his name, he would say, frowning at the baby in my arms. That was the beginning of my long journey. IJE DIM, the marriage part that no one truly prepares you for. Soon, he began bringing strange women home, one after another, like goats into a new pen. He said it was because I refused to give him a male child, as though I was the one who chose from heaven who should be born. By the time he brought the second wife, Chinaza, I had already learned to swallow my tears with roasted groundnuts. Then came Chikodili, with her 2 boys from another marriage. Ifunanya, who fought her own sister over his attention and ended up childless. Ngozi, who was smart enough to have 4 children from her first husband and none from Chinwike. And the rest whose name I sometimes forget because they came like rainy seasons, one every year. Our compound became a marketplace of quarrels. Every kitchen was a battlefield. If you threw a stone, you would either hit a crying wife, a hungry child, or a jealous co-wife. Yet, Chinwike strutted around like a cock who owned the sun. He gave each of us a piece of farmland and declared, "Feed yourselves, and don't forget to feed me when it's your turn." Imagine, a man who could not buy salt for his own soup. But when I gave birth to a son, Ifeanyichukwu, the compound erupted with joy. I was queen again. He slaughtered a goat and danced till morning. "My hair, my blood," he shouted. I smiled through my tears, foolishly believing that peace has returned. But tragedy has no respect for happiness. Ifeanyichukwu fell ill and died before his first birthday. Chinwike accused me of witchcraft. I still hear his voice. "You have eaten my only son." I told him it was the envy from one of his other wives, but who listened to a grieving woman? From that day, I learned to build a wall inside my heart, a wall that pain could not climb. Years passed. Another son came, Chisom, and I whispered, "God is with me." I thought that would soften his heart, but no. The man's hunger for women grew like weeds after rain. He now had 9 wives and 72 children, and that is just the official count. Some call him Obuefi the Great, but in truth, he was Obuefi the Fool. You see, wealth without wisdom is like soup without salt. It fills the stomach but offends the tongue. He favored Chinaza, his second wife, the same woman who once begged me for salt when she first came. He built her a new hut, gave her the best farmland, and sent her children to school, while Mai learned to plant cassava. The others said she charmed him. I said no, she just knows where his empty head itches. Then one day, his 7th wife, Onyechi, refused to feed him. Her children were sick. She had sold all her grains for medicine. Chinwike came running like a bull, shouting that she must cook for him or leave his house. That was the day everything exploded. I can still see it. The firelight dancing in angry faces, pistols raised like weapons, women shouting, children crying. By the time the dust settled, Chinwike was lying on the ground, bloodied and bruised, his proud head resting on the very earth he had despised. They said he fainted. I said, he finally met the consequences of his foolishness. When my children asked why I didn't join in the fight, I told them, my children, I have seen every kind of nonsense in this life, and that I no longer feel pain. My tears dried long ago. I have built peace in my heart, a peace no man can destroy. Your father may have failed as a husband, but do not fall as men. Love your wives, feed your children, marry only when you are ready, and when you do, stay faithful. When the elders gathered us under a big mango tree, they settled the matter. Some wives left, some stayed. The land was divided, so each could feed her children. For the first time in years, I felt the wind of freedom touched my face. Now, as I sit by my kitchen fire, watching the smoke rise like prayers, I laugh. I laugh not because my story is sweet, but because I survived it and I'm still here. They call me Anayochukwu, the one who receives from God. Truly, I have received wisdom, patience, and peace. As for Chinwike, he still limps around the compound, older, quieter, sometimes mumbling to himself. Maybe he's counting his children, maybe his regrets. And I just tear my pot, hum an old tune, and whisper to the night. IJE DIM, my marriage life, has been a long journey, but at least I reached the end with my heart still beating.